Hey guys, welcome to Six Figures 3D Printing. Yes, you hear a little Star Trek theme today. We got to visit the NCC 1701 today. Looks like I get to update you guys on a long-term project. Ironically, I've completed it twice before, and it has been killed by a dog. Gotta love dogs. Second time, completely printed, went to a craft show, and guess what? I didn't count on, folks. 107-degree in the shade heat, making it look like a Salvador Dali painting, when the saucer of the 1701 ended up shaped like this. Yeah, there was no saving it. In the trash it went. But actually turned out to be a decent happening because we ended up with a better ship. Can't beat it. So, got it completed. I couldn't wait to share it with you guys. We'll get to the hints and tips in a minute. But I want you to see my brand new 1701. She's a 1/350 scale, printed in 5% aluminum infill, making it very heavy. So let me give you a little hint, guys. When you're talking something this heavy, make sure that your stand, notice that I've got it braced from the back. Make sure your stand can hold it. I broke the stand twice. This weighs close to 8 pounds. Way heavier than I expected. Yeah, you see this, huh? I don't do a lot of movement with it. But take a look at the detail on this thing. She turned out to be a beautiful kit. She's also part of the reason for the hints and tips today. We're going to talk about how to take your slicer and add some fine detail to your prototype, your paint, your sculpture, whichever it is. You can add so much just little color pops to your detail by slicing off your details, printing them and re-adding them, which I'll show you in a minute. And it just makes the whole thing shine. It makes the whole thing just pop all together. You can't eliminate all painting, but you can add certain things that'll just be printed instead of painted, and it just adds a whole nother level to your 3D prints. This, I'm going to bring it a little closer. Now, the original model for this is not of my design. You should try going to a website that I've discovered called Fab365. Now, this original model was not meant to be this large nor this heavy. The original model was only meant to be about that big. I scaled it up 250% because I wanted a 3-foot version. Yes, I have a couple of the actual 1/350 kits, the plastic model kits from Ernl that you built sitting on my shelf, and I wanted to try my hand at making my own. I did not count on the physical weight. I made these with a 50% infill. Now that infill was rectilinear and it made it very solid, but it also made it very heavy. I should have maybe gone with an adaptive honeycomb would have been good, where it made the larger pieces inside more hollow, saving some weight and potentially some filament. But I wanted that real solid fill. Kind of got more than I bargained for on this, but can't deny the look of it. The model from 365 is phenomenal. Now, one thing that I love about Fab365, no, we're not sponsored by them. I just happen to be a fan of their models. I design my own stuff quite a lot, but sometimes a model is just so eye-catching that you've got to get it. This one is one of theirs. You'll notice like the prints here, the colors, they do what I call a trapezoidal print. It's cut out, and when you print it, there's a hole here. Then you print the color separately in the shape of a trapezoid, which you then set in, making a nice clean, as you can tell, a clean imprint for what looks like a decal. Now, I've never done these in the past on my own. I do an actual 3D printed decal, but these are a very clean way to go. I have to admire this one. Do I think they could do a little more? Sure, but by itself, any printer, any early 3D printer, even if you've just started, and this is what I like about them, you could print a very nice model from a Fab365 kit. They almost never require supports. They give amazing instructions. So if you're just getting started, or if you're an expert, try that site out. Let me tell you, you will enjoy what you get from it. This being one of the examples. Now, like I said, bigger is better, and I scaled it up a lot, and I added a lot of details to it. The blue in the engines, representing like the Enterprise from the Strange New World series. That is not an extra print. That is what we're going to talk about today, is things like that, where you take your slicer, you remove certain details, print them, and then re-add them to your print to add extra detail without having to paint them. Now, I could have gone crazy and cut the dome off, cut some of this off, but I did want to paint a little bit because I do like to paint. But again, the 1701, long time, third attempt. The other two got broken. But I did it in the 5% aluminum infill print to represent the new Strange New World series, because it's got that metallic finish Enterprise instead of the old gray. So I kind of blended the two a little bit to get this effect. I like the old and the new Enterprises. So if you get a chance, give it a shot. I think you would enjoy. I would say I've printed 5 or 6 good models from them. I tried them out. So give them a shot. I think you will enjoy them. Now on to one of my own Star Trek designs that I particularly like. I do a Star Trek Away Team set that I sell. But this is one of my classics that everybody loves. It's my tricorder. Now, my tricorder, I pulled from the designs from the original 1976 Star Trek Technical Manual, the first edition. So all of my measurements and colors are an exact match to the technical guide. Now, what I did was, I make this in an electronic version, of course, but this is what I call a dummy version, whereas there's no electronics, but all of your buttons, they all click. They're very satisfyingly clicky. Every dial turns. Now, what's nice is you get, now look at me, I can't even open my own doors today. For cosplay reasons, you get both medical scanners. You got to have them both, right? Now, also, in the original, these are library discs. Now, in most of the toys that you find, or collectibles, these do nothing. Now, with a little careful work, mine actually come out. These are just fun, right? In my electronic version, these actually have a function. For now, they're just for show. But just in the spirit of the 1701 Star Trek today, I wanted to show one of my accessories off. The tricorder is always one of my favorites. Now, everything in the tricorder is 3D printed, including the strap. This is made of TPU, so it's a rubber strap that you can carry. This right here is done on an inkjet printer using a hard polystyrene plastic to cover it, to give it a screen effect. Makes it look nice, and it lasts. It stays forever so far. I've had this display. This is the original prototype. It's been on my shelf for 2 years. Still looks brand new. Can't beat it. But again, there's no limit to your 3D printer. All those collectibles that you always wished you had as a kid. Well, look, this is one I craved when I was a child in the 80s. Everybody always bought them out, so I made my own. Couldn't resist. Now, I have one that actually works. It scans things. It makes a lot of noise. Has a functioning 2.8-inch OLED screen. But this one's just for show. Set that down carefully because, you know, my luck, I will drop it because, you know, I'm good about dropping things. So let me load up the Prusa slicer, and I'm going to take you on a little tour of what I'm talking about when I say use your slicer to add details, because, man, you can't beat it, okay? Your slicer can be your best friend, okay? It can, yes, it can drive you crazy, I'm not going to lie, but you can take something simple, I mean, very, very simple. Okay, let's take a project I'm working on now. It is a sign for a Marine and his family. And it is currently in, well, I would call it 2D, basically right now. It is just, it's a beautiful sign, but I wanted to add some flavor to it. So let me switch the screen. I want you to take a look at this. If I were to, boom, here we go. This is the sign for him. I'm making it in black and brass. So as we know, we can take it. Okay, I just resized it. There we can take it and we can slice it, of course. Now, when it's done with the slicing, we know we can see it. But we can, first of all, let's add a second color. Let's bring it down. If we go to about, here, let's zoom in. Let's make sure we grab the first layer. There, that's our first layer. That's where it's going to separate. Now, in a lot of slicers, you have to manually code in your color separations. In the Prusa slicer, an M600 code, as it's called, is a simple click right here, just bada bing. And look at that. Is the printer will automatically pause, move the print head aside, allow you to switch colors, and then you will automatically have two colors printed into your print. Let me pull back. A permanent, you don't have to glue it in, you don't have to paint it. A beautiful two-color print. But let's say I wanted to do something separate. Let's say there was these small details that I wanted to get into. But you'll notice that the rope is the same height as the anchor around it. Okay, or let's take the anchor even. It doesn't matter. Take your pick. You can take your slicer and you can go right back into it again. Okay. Let's isolate. And this is where I have a good time with it. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to pull this down. We're going to use the right click. And look at that. See how it starts isolating things? Yeah, now. See, you can start separating. See how I separate that? Okay, if I were to want to keep that separately, I could. Or we'll bring this down again. Down, 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 down. Here we go. Or up. I'm sorry. There we go. Now you can take, see how these are blue and these are pink? You can change the color. What happens when you change these colors, it continues to make it part of the background. So if I were to want to separate all of these details now, watch this. I can take them, cut them away from the sign as a separate detail. Okay. Now, if I click, you will see that I have separated the details from the sign. Look at that. By doing this, we can have a good time with it. We can take these and we can separate them. And I could print this in one color, the eagle in one color, this in one color. And all you have to do is separate. Take your slicer again. Split it to the different objects. Now what we have here, now it doesn't look any different, does it, folks? But check it out. Now we can command each individual object. Do it however you wish. That's how we go back and separate a design. Use the pattern. Now I can print them in any color I want and use a little glue, put them back onto the design if I want, however you want to do it. Sometimes the designs in a pattern or your project are all the same height. So this is how you separate them if you need to. That way you can print them in a different color and glue them back on and get those fine little extra details that just makes a project pop. See, now I could do that globe in a nice blue or green. I could do the eagle in brown and white if I wanted, however I wanted to do it. Now, granted, even though I created the sign, I could have put these in color separately anyway. But I just wanted to show you, if this were an already pre-made design, I can still separate it into the components and do the individual printed colors. Any way I wanted to. Man, can you make some seriously beautiful designs doing it like this, okay? But keep that in mind. You can have a lot of fun with it. Even little details, like the Enterprise. I was working on these nacelles, and I sliced off these blue patterns off the nacelle itself. I didn't go through the trouble to make new ones. I sliced off the existing pattern, printed it, then glued it back on so I could have the effect that I wanted. I could slice off the dome for the bridge. Just that little dome. Print it in a translucent or a clear and glue it back on. Get a certain effect that I'm looking for. You can have so much fun and create amazing designs. You can do it if you want to paint. You can do it if you don't want to paint. That same process is used here. This is how complex it can get. Where after creating a design, then slicing it all apart to get the individual pieces that I can print them in color so I did not have to paint. My goal here was no paint. So it can be done. Trust me. Your slicer is your best friend. Now, I've tried a few others. I have. But the Prusa Slicer, I can't say enough about him. It's an open source software, and man, has it never let me down. Compatible with just about every printer I've ever tried. Yes, I use Elegoo printers. Now, this Enterprise was made on an Elegoo printer. In fact, it was made on a Neptune 4 Pro. Not the big printer you see in the background over here, but made on these little Elegoo Neptune 4 Pros in the corner, just to prove that a small printer could do a big job. Okay, so you may have any number of other brands, and they're probably great. I've tried 3 or 4 others, and I just settled on Elegoo. They've never done me wrong. And let me tell you, I got a whole wall full of stuff. That alien right here, that's Elegoo. That Transformers I do, Elegoo. So get to know your printer, but you can always use Prusa Slicer no matter what printer you have. I'm telling you, can't be. Selective supports. You can draw your own supports. It allows for cleaner prints, less scarring. Once you learn it, you cannot go wrong. Okay. So again, make sure you make sure to use your slicer for everything you can use. Slice the details, reprint them, reattach them, and come up with the most detailed things you've ever created. Even if you don't have a multi-head printer, you can do some serious work, okay? Now, currently, I'm working on some things, some little commissions for some folks. I got a gentleman who needs a Pooh Bear, of all things. So I'm working in a resin Pooh Bear for him. Yeah, he turned out pretty good so far, right? I'm working on the rest of him too, but the head's coming out good. The same guy, he's with J&L Creative Designs. He does these antique lamps, restores them with, he does like dioramas in them. It's amazing. He takes these action figures and creates scenes. Unbelievable. Go look at it on Facebook. You can't beat G&L Creative Designs, man. But like, he's doing one for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Y'all remember the scene in the original 90s movie when Raphael got his ass kicked and they had to go hide out in an old farmhouse? They had him in that bathtub. Remember that scene? He's laying there all kind of, well, he's recreating that scene with some action figures. So he needed a bathtub. So he asked me to make a nice clawfoot bathtub to do the scene with. So we're looking forward to seeing how that one's going to turn out. But I'm telling you, you can't beat this guy's stuff. I've never seen anything like it. Go take a look. He's on Facebook, and unbelievable. His Beauty and the Beast. He just finished. Oh, man. He's working on a Nightmare series of lamps. Like there's a Freddy, there's a Jason, and then there's, Michael Myers. And there's an It lamp. You got to go see these. They're phenomenal, okay? But so he does requisition some stuff from us from time to time. Little details that you can't find somewhere. So we'll do the little stuff. We've done it. We printed an Oogie Boogie for an Oogie Boogie lamp that he did. Let me tell you. Oh, man, that Oogie Boogie lamp, hands down, got to be a masterpiece. You've got to go see his Facebook page and check that one out. I'm not up in my Oogie Boogie. That's the minor thing compared to all the work he did around the lamp. And his paint job on that statue, phenomenal. You can't beat it, okay, guys? But all right, well, I don't know, didn't really have much today, but I wanted to share the old Enterprise with you. You know, the long-term projects, you get one done and it just hits right, guys? You got to share it with the world. So I wanted to share my big 1701. It's going on the shelf. I wish I could just shout it to the rooftop. So this is my shouting to the rooftops kind of, hey, look what it is. I'm putting it up for one of the dogs. I have Great Danes, and they like to break stuff, so let's make sure that Great Danes don't hit it, right? Good God. 265-pound dogs can break everything, I'm telling you. Oh, wait. I do have a little bit of news. I can't give you specifics, but Six Bears 3D printing is about to take out its first patent. Yes, that's right. I am patenting a product. I can't tell you what it is quite yet. You know, I have to be careful because I don't want anybody to jump the gold mine, as they say. But it's on the way. My patent research is almost done. So far, I have a unique product. Patent lawyers say it is nothing. There's nothing like it in the United States, ever all. So cross your fingers, folks. I'm gonna do some. They're doing the international research now, and we're gonna hope. Say a prayer to the patent gods. If it comes back as a unique product, we are going to town. We're going to go to market. Six Bears is on the map. Let's see what happens, okay? So when the big news comes in, I will announce it here, and I will show you what I'm talking about, okay? Keep posted. You'll see it posted. Big old banner. Big banner. When I can tell you. Can't tell you now. Hey, can't let the cat out of the bag, right? Hey, this old bear's got tight lips. Throw away the key. Let's go. Because I can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can teach an old bear a few, and I'm working on it. So let's see what happens, okay? All right. Hey, I'm going to rock and roll. I got some work to do. I couldn't wait to sit down with you guys and just chat for a few. I mean, if you guys want to hang out while I'm working, it can get kind of boring. I mean, there'll be a little music. I might even talk to myself. It might get a little weird sometimes. You know, because I argue with myself. I'm getting kind of old and senile, I think. Because I suffer from CRS, you know, can't remember shit. Yeah, you heard me. That's right. I'm getting old. I'm an old fart. You know, we have a theory around here. I'm sitting around, I'm getting old, fat, and gray, and I make toys. Does that make me Santa Claus? I'm not sure. But damn, I'm starting to wonder sometimes. Let's not let that cat out of the bag either, okay? All right. Well, let me let you go. I'm going to holler at you later. And, hey, I'm going to be trying out a new software somebody told me about. OBS Studios for this stream. Yeah, it's probably going to look like hell for a little bit, but I'm going to give it a shot. They say it's supposed to make it a little smoother, guys. So we'll figure it out. And we'll talk to you later. Yeah, where's that bud? All right, we'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.